Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man. As always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel, my talk show. Tell It Like It Is, and my co-host.
Joseph Spencer.
Okay, today is going to be another interesting topic. And the topic is children out of wedlock. Because people have asked me throughout the years, and I'm sure they've asked you and everybody else, what would you say was one of your biggest accomplishments in your life? And when people ask me that question, they're surprised with my answer because it's not the music, it's not the music awards, it's not the education, it's not the careers that I had. It's the fact that I've never had a child out of wedlock. Because that was something that my mother frowned on. My mother had 10 kids. So because I watched the show Everybody Hates Chris. And the character, his mother, she was saying, don't bring no babies in this house. And it's so funny because that's exactly what my mother used to say in the 70s. Don't bring no kids up in this house. And none of us did, because, I consider myself a mama's boy. I love my mom and my dad too, not taking away the love from him, but me and my mother had a really special bond. I really respect her, really loved her, and she really took care of all of us. So I did not want to disappoint her by no means. She was the last person on this planet that I wanted to disappoint. So that was one reason why, there was no kids outside of a wedding. I have one daughter, and I was married to her mom when she was conceived. We tried to keep it traditional, because it was working. Traditional stuff was working as opposed to nowadays. You got these people that got kids outside of a marriage and with multiple partners, and it's like I look at the lives of most of these kids and they end up in jail or in trouble somewhere down the line. And that's one of the reasons why, because they didn't have that foundation to spring off on in life and to be successful. So we took that very serious in our household that, you come walking in here, my girlfriend about to have a baby nonsense, so I'm gonna play that stuff. What do you think on that? What are your thoughts on that, Joe?
When you have children out of wedlock, number one, it breaks the heritage line. You have kids on one side of the street and kids on the other side of the street, and some men deny siring these kids, and it breaks that bloodline down. I think it go all the way back to the slavery days. A lot of young black men and white, Italian, Jews, they see sex with a woman as a sport. It's not a sport. You bring a life into the world. This is your bloodline.
And we mentioned this, talked about this off air, as opposed to, like you said, when you were growing up in the 50s and the 60s, men were secretively having kids all over the town.
All over the town. But
what's different versus then versus now is it's acceptable to be walking around with 2 kids, you're not married, and the men that fathered these children are no longer even around. No. So it's sad that it has come to that. And that's the reason why, for the most part, the problems we're having with our young black men, they didn't know their father on an intimate level as far as daddy was married to mom and dad was in the house. When I came home from school, dad was here. Or he had work, but when he got off work, he came home. Yeah. And that's something that we can't stress more in this society right now, especially for our young black people, that, they need their father. We need that old school foundation of a family structure again, because this is the reason why most of these guys run around here shooting, stealing, going to jail. Like we talked about the guy that was the car accident. He was charged with the murder when the police were chasing somebody and accidentally killed somebody trying to catch him. We glanced into the audience, and his family that represented him. There was no man in that group. It was just women. And I always say this, I thank God that I grew up in the era that I did because of the things that were taking place then. Because these are some of the examples of there is no father in the house. We look at these little kids now taking these little kids to school when it's not their job to be taking kids to school because they're kids. And, kids, you have to plan. When you on your game, you get married, you plan your children. If you don't have enough money right now to finance children, you wait till you get the promotion that you're looking for or another better job, as opposed to I'm just carelessly having kids and let the chips fall where they may. And unfortunately, when you have that attitude, the kids suffer, because you come home as a young man, you don't have a father to protect you, to rear you, to school you. You got to rely on grandmother who's about 5 years away from seeing God. And I'm not trying to sound, dark or anything, but I feel that when people reach the status of grandparents, it's time to relax. It's not time to take on raising another little baby that's not yours. It's your daughter's baby. Now you got to raise that baby, But unfortunately, some grandparents have got roped into that, and some have encouraged it. Because we talked about the phrase that we've coined, the surrogate, the mother or the surrogate father, who is now grandmama in the black household. The majority of these young men, Rick, coming up, their mother, they were with their mother and they with their grandmother, and it shouldn't be that way because you could be the best mother in the world, but you can't be a father.
You can't tell.
You can't be a father.
I've been listening to that a woman can raise a male. That's not true because
not true.
males and females are completely different. The only thing she can give is a feminine perspective.
Your kids need mother and father collectively,
Right.
not just one or the other. Because we talk about the kids out of wedlock thing, and this has always kind of puzzled and baffled me, and it's kind of funny and sad at the same time. We live in a country where you can walk into a grocery store and get anything off the shelf, but you go in there to get protective, means as far as condoms, they all cased up and glassed up and locked up. And I'm saying to myself, a responsible man is not going to steal the condoms, and the irresponsible man is not going to buy them. So it's like, why are they locked up? It's difficult enough when you're a young guy and you want to go in there and get them. Now you got to get permission from somebody to open up the case to get them. I really think that they should just leave them out out there so you can get them. Yeah, they are expensive, but again, an irresponsible guy ain't gonna steal them because he ain't gonna use them anyway.
You have a fraction of people who still want to have sexual control over people, and that condom thing is an information thing. Most middle class Americans teach their sons about condoms, and most unfortunate people, sons, figured a woman's body is her responsibility. But when you're sleeping with a young woman, her body is your responsibility too.
You take the lead.
You take the lead.
Exactly. I mean, it's always been that men take the lead.
Yeah.
And there's no excuse now for you to not have protection to ward off against unwanted pregnancy. Because there are tons of methods now. There are tons of birth controls out there that are freely available. Because when we were growing up, you had to get it from the drugstore.
Right.
And the drugstore closed or probably wasn't open on Sundays.
Yeah.
But now you can get condoms for free. You can get them at the gas station, that's open 24 hours. So there's no excuse that, you popping up with children when you're not planning to have any.
When I in the 60s, the average young black woman did not know what birth control pills were.
Yeah.
When I got in school and got on campus, most of the Caucasian girls would tell me, I've been taking birth control since I was 16, 15 years old, and that was in the 60s.
Yeah.
You get it in neighborhoods, and young black women, when I was a kid, was proving their worth by having sex with particular young black males in the neighborhood. And the young black males, family was usually the ones with the most money in the neighborhood and the most cars.
Yeah.
Or the way he looked, his hair, blah, blah, this, that, and the other. So he could have several kids in the same neighborhood in an 8-block radius because he was getting all the sex. Also, when I was a kid, I was here, well, he'll be a good provider.
Exactly. Because you want to be able to, if you're going to pick a mate to have children, you want to be able to say that I believe that they had these qualities to be quality people, quality parents. Because two things kept me away from not having kids outside my marriage, was my parents' belief that they didn't believe in that nonsense. Second, I looked around at my peers who fell into that trap, and I'm like, I'm still 15, 16 years old enjoying freedom, and they going over to their girlfriend's house to see their baby.
See their baby, trying to get
and then less than a year later, they ain't not even together anymore.
Right.
So now your son is going to be bounced around from another guy to another guy, as opposed to you being in the household, the biological parent to help raise it. So I seen those things as a kid, Joe, and I'm like, I don't want to get caught up in that. I definitely don't want to get caught up in that. And then the child support thing, when you think you got away, and then 10 years later, when you're struggling with your kids, with your current mate, you look up and come to work, and 15% of your income missing is going to be missing for the next 17 years, plus the back rent or the back child support.
You take the average young black male all of a sudden the young girl becomes a hoe because she didn't had sex with him. And to this day, I look at him and say, well, men can't be whores.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Which is
Because it's
stupid.
funny you mentioned that, because my take on that is this. It's a double standard. If I call you one, I got to be one too, because
Yeah.
I was there with you doing this event.
Doing this
so how
event.
can I separate myself from that statement if I'm a part of it? That's just ignorance. It's
Yeah.
just pure
And-
ignorance.
And any man, any woman that has sex, women are always in a subservient position. She
Yeah.
yields herself to you.
Yeah.
Even if she's on the top, you still
Yeah.
got.
We're the skipper of the vessel.
Yeah, we just skip her the vessel.
And we need to act like that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, on this particular episode, our show is kind of running down. Or should I say, we have to top this one off. So, my advice to these young men and women is, don't just lay down with anybody and have kids, because kids are a long-term investment, and you need to be aware that this is a big commitment. So don't carelessly get involved into a situation where you're fathering children all over the city, because these children are the ones that are going to suffer as a result of your lack of maturity and insight as far as being a good parent. Any closing remarks? Make it quick.
Pornography is not making love. Think about who you want to leave your DNA in. Because it goes on for hundreds of years. Your DNA gonna be out there for hundreds of years, and you're supposed to be responsible for your body as being a man. Don't think about just breasts and behind. Teach your children, if you're a young man, learn that your body is just as precious as a woman's body. Don't go out there and give yourself to some woman that you don't want.
So on that note, because we got to go.
Okay.
So until next time, as always, keep thinking. Take care.
Yeah. Have a blessed day.